Eric's an actor. I just thought that the sore throat was an attempt to get attention.
I'll go on.
Well, I'm telling you, if you put that man on stage in his present condition, he may die.
I can go on.
I'm afraid that's a chance I'm going to have to take, Doctor.
All right, but you're going to have to take full responsibility.
I'll go on.
How long will it take to get him ready?
Well, I could shoot him up with some cortisone, but I want you to know shooting a patient up with drugs goes against everything I stand for as a doctor. You're asking me to tear up the Hippocratic Oath and throw it in the toilet. You're asking me to abandon every principle held by the medical profession. I absolutely refuse.
Lauren, the doctor is right. What you've got in there is a half-dead Englishman, someone who can't possibly get up in time to do this show. Now, I can give you the energy and the enthusiasm you need. Listen to this. Live from New York, it's Saturday night.
Well, I'll give him the shot.
Hello and welcome to the Not Ready for Primetime Project. We're Gary Seath and Brad Robinson.
And you're not.
This week on the early years of SNL, we're talking about Season 5, Episode 2, with host Eric Idle and musical guest Bob Dylan. This show originally aired on October 20th, 1979. Brad, it's Eric Idle, back for the fourth time.
And Bob Dylan. What a ticket. This is a ticket. Come on.
This is a ticket. It's kind of amazing, right? To get Eric Idle and Bob Dylan in 1979. That's exciting.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited for this episode. Was psyched to see it. Even though it's Dylan's Christian period, which is not everyone's favorite. And even though it's Eric Idle's last time, which is kind of sad to look back, knowing he's not going to be back. But yeah.
That is sad knowing that it's Eric Idle's last time. But in the moment, they didn't know that. So it is a huge ticket, like you're saying.
Well, what? And Life of Brian came out that summer, which was huge. You love that movie, don't you?
I do enjoy it, yeah.
Is that your favorite Python movie?
It's not my favorite. The Holy Grail is still my favorite. But
oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, can't go wrong with Life of Grail. Or the Holy Grail. The Life of Grail. Ah.
The Life of... It's when you mold the two together. Huge movie for those guys. And it was a success right out the gate. Because last time we saw him, they just finished, right? He finished filming it last year when he hosted for season 4. So now he's actually back. Not promoting it, but he is coming off the heels of its release. Dylan is just Slow Train came out about the same time that movie came out, I think, in August. So it's been out for a couple months. The first of his 3 Christian movie.
Oof, here we go.
First of his 3 Christian albums. So it's 2 artists at interesting times of their careers. And Idle, I think, takes a break around this point. I guess all Pythons do, right? The kind of Python kind of slows for a bit.
Yeah.
They do. Next fall is when they do the Hollywood Bowl, the fall of 80 is when they do that live show at the Hollywood Bowl. So yeah, so they're kind of like soaking this in and just kind of taking a break before that. And then Meaning of Life is after that, a couple of years after that, right? That's like that's the last film they did, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're swinging big to start season 5. Steve Martin, Eric Idle. It's hard to get too big. And of course, and Buck is there for both.
Yeah. Buck is there just hanging out all week.
It's basically everybody you'd want other than Paul Simon to start off a season for 2 weeks.
I mean, I don't know that we want that, but sure. I know what you're saying.
Not you. I mean, other fans of the show. Yeah.
And this show has Dylan and Idle, like we said. Also, Andy Kaufman's back for the first time in a long time.
Yeah. About midway through season 4. Yeah.
We finally get Harry Shearer as a little bit of Harry Shearer, they said. Yeah.
Verbatim, a little bit. Yeah.
And they're not lying. There is a little bit of Harry Shearer in this.
That's true. He's a little guy.
Yeah. So it's an interesting episode that when you look at all of these things before even watching the show, you're like, oh, this is something. This should be fun.
I agree. And then I think watching the show, and I noticed it much more this episode, I'm sure we'll get into it, than I did the first episode, of missing Dan and John. For some reason, I felt it a lot more in this episode than I did the first one. I think Steve kind of doing more, and it was kind of like the Steve Martin Show and Friends, where this was more, because Eric was sick, I guess, that relied on the cast a bit more than week 1. And there's some specific instances as well where you felt them not being there.
Totally.
Where I didn't as much last week.
Yeah. And we'll get into it throughout this show, but there are definitely instances where you're like, well, you have other people you could have brought in for this. And they just didn't. I mean, there's one person in particular who does not get a lot of screen time.
Oh, Garrett?
Yeah. I was like, well, come on.
There's a line, I think, in somebody else's sketch, and I'm like, where the hell's Garrett? At one point.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like he even came out and said anything. It's just, I just realized, I was like, where the hell is he?
Yeah, it's true.
Maybe like Lauren is like, the original Mars shot, and he's pissed that he's got the beard. And so like he refuses to put him on camera because he's got the beard. I don't know.
I like that. Lorne Michaels is the original Marge shot. There you go.
You just like that reference.
I do. And I know that there are like 6 people listening to this that are going to get it. So Ian, that one's for you, buddy. Well, season 5, episode 2. This is an interesting time. And again, it's like mid to late October and it's only episode 2. So it's not like they're deep into the season yet. And yet it feels like it at certain times.
And they're taking a week off after this week, as we'll learn.
Well, should we just get into it?
Let's do it.
All right.
It's a fun episode.
Well, the cold open starts outside of Eric Idle's dressing room, and Harry Shearer, playing a doctor, comes out, and he's asked if he's going to be okay. And he's like, I don't know. And he walks past a llama amongst many other characters backstage.
In the first minute of this cold open, you get Harry Shearer, Jane, Buck Henry, Lorne, and a llama.
Yeah.
Like, this is a good start. Come on.
It's a good start. And Harry, as the doctor, goes to talk to Lorne, who's talking to Buck, and he's giving them the updates. Apparently, Eric Idle's very sick. He shouldn't go on. And so it's just Harry Shearer talking to Lorne, and Harry Shearer would say something, and Buck would say, I can go on. And Lorne would just totally ignore him and just talk to Harry the entire time. And this goes on for a few minutes where it's back and forth, and in the background you're getting all of these other crazy characters, people dressed up as parrots and stuff happening right behind them. And finally Buck says, look, we have a half-dead Englishman who can't go on. I can do it. Watch, live from New York. It's Saturday night. And then Harry Shearer finally agrees to give him the shot that he had been holding back on this entire time.
And then it feels like no one, including the band,
no one knew,
seems to know what to do.
Yes.
No one knew what to do.
No one knew what to do.
There's no applause. It goes to the title sequence. The band like messes up a cue, which doesn't help the applause come in.
And then they start again. And then you can tell, like,
yeah, and then finally it kicks in.
The stage manager's trying to get the crowd to applaud, but like the song has already started and the title card. Yeah. I thought it was a lot of fun to see them just mess with Buck, and obviously Buck's in on the joke, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is one of the best Buck burns we've seen. Like they do it in his monologue all the time. Like this was a really great burn on Buck Henry. It was fun. Like he just, as you said, would just ignore him. Like he'd be ignored. Lorne and Harry would talk to each other, and he would just
I think this is one of Lorne's best performances we've seen.
Even though he's blatantly reading off the cue cards, looking off camera to see them. Yes. I agree.
Look, it was a low bar.
That's fair. Did you catch the line Shearer says? It's almost verbatim the line they used in the Belushi cold open about he'd have a 50-50 chance of surviving if he went on to the show.
Yep.
I like that. That was good.
Yeah, and that was very early in the whole bit too. Yeah.
But I like it.
I did too. I thought it was fun, even though you lost something when just the confusion of Buck saying live from New York and the crowd didn't know how to react. It was okay.
But even that aside, how do you not love Buck? I mean, and it's fun, it's meta, it all worked. It was it's somehow, even though he's not in the cold open, it sets up Eric Idle really great, which I liked.
Yeah, it's definitely his sense of humor is brought forward in this sketch. Yeah. And then we get the monologue. They introduce Eric Idle and he comes out.
I have a question on the opening credits.
Okay.
Is it weird to you seeing Jane's picture first?
I mean, it's just because you're used to it the other way. Like, I don't know why it would be weird.
I know. That's why, this is, like I said, like the episode where I start missing Dan and John. And it was even at this point where I'm like, oh, Jane's the first photo we see.
I actually noticed that last week, but it didn't bother me as much. I was just like, oh, Jane's first. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So for Eric Idle's monologue, he comes out because he had been sick. He comes out on a stretcher carried by Peter Ackroyd and friend of the pod, Mitchell Lawrence.
Mitchell.
And he says that despite doctor's orders, he's going to go on and he's going to start with some stretcher impressions. So he does the Leaning Tower of Pisa, Esther Williams. This was fun for what it was, for a guy on a stretcher.
Yeah.
I thought they did a good job.
Oh, yeah. I thought Jack LaLanne was funny. They flip him upside down, starts doing push-ups. It's great.
Yeah, that was good.
Iwo Jima. It was really good.
Yeah, and credit to Peter Ackroyd and Mitchell Lawrence for all of their hard work doing that, too.
Mitchell has a great story on our buddy Ian's podcast, Ian Talks Comedy, where he talks about this sketch, and the only thing going through his head is, don't drop Eric. Don't drop Eric. Don't drop Eric.
Yeah, I can imagine. Especially, I was thinking that during the Jack LaLanne thing. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, well, they start flipping him around, or the Superman, they put
Yeah.
him on his side and he does Superman flying. Yeah. It works great with the setup from the cold open, you know, and like, as you said, knowing what we know now that he was really sick, I think he had like 104 fever, 101 fever. It's very good, like with what he does under those conditions. But even if you didn't know that, just at the time, you have no idea that it's true that he's sick. It actually, I almost feel like it plays better.
Yeah.
Because you feel this is just Eric Idle coming back, taking over the show with some kind of a long runner idea, like the English telethon, where he's just going to play this gag that he's sick all episode. And it's really funny. Like he does a great job. It all works really well.
Yeah. This was a lot of fun. And I liked that it was short. It was quick. It got to the point. It didn't like drag it out at all. They got all the jokes in and then moved on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And our first sketch after that is a voiceover of Harry Shearer to start. And it's the Hotel Motel Art Fair. And then it is Harry Shearer to camera selling hotel motel art. This reminded me a lot of Bill's first episode where they went right in with Bill right away, and they did that with Harry here.
That was the very first note I had. Very reminiscent of them introducing Bill to the audience on his first, straight to camera. At least they announced Harry's name this time in the credits, where Bill they didn't. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
very, very reminiscent. I wonder if they realized that they needed to focus on him a bit more after last week, after the first weeks not being that great. And they realized, like, maybe we need to introduce this guy into the show sooner than we wanted to.
Yeah. And it's just him to camera talking about all of this art that's going to be for sale when redecorators come in at hotels and motels. I thought he did a very good job of speaking quickly. He had a quick cadence. He didn't miss any lines. He was kind of doing a Dan type thing to camera, very quick.
So I had that question for you, and this is not meant as an insult. But is he trying to do Dan?
I didn't think so. I didn't take that he was trying to do Dan. It was just kind of very reminiscent of that because he didn't.
Yes.
Like, his character wasn't over the top enough, in my opinion, to make it feel like it was a Dan, like he was trying to do a Dan type thing. I think Harry Shearer is he's a very good speaker, and he can do that in the same way. And I think that's also his kind of comedy. So I didn't take it like that.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I was wondering. It's again, as I mentioned, this was another instance where I'm like, oh, this would have been a Dan sketch. This would have been Dan doing this, solo to camera. And it sucks because it's hard, and I feel it will be hard to watch Harry Shearer this season without thinking of all the baggage that comes with Harry Shearer, because I feel like it's been so well documented. The issues he had with the show and the show had with him, even from how he was brought on and what was expected of each other. And we all know now that he and the show are not a good fit together. And it's just hard to get that out of my head. The limited times I've seen him so far, just knowing kind of how it's not a good marriage.
That's interesting because you are the person who totally discounts all of John's baggage and apologizes for that, but you're holding on to Harry Shearer's baggage without and from the start, it seems.
I don't want, no, it's not against him. I don't know. I guess because you just knew coming in how it was. And so like, it's hard to watch him because John didn't have the baggage, I guess, when he started, it developed. I don't know. I don't know. I wish I could watch it without knowing. I'm not like knocking Harry Shearer for it. I'm just saying like knowing on both sides how like Harry didn't love the show and the show didn't really love Harry and they just had issues from day one. I don't know. Hopefully I don't stick with it. I can look past it. I just noticed it this episode, seeing him for the first time. Like,
I mean, I think he's put in a no-win situation here, really. Right? Like,
oh, I agree.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
And I don't think Lauren does him any favors at all.
No.
And so
no, that's what I meant too, with like what he was promised on the show versus what the people on the show were told he was going to be doing. Like it was just a horrible situation.
Yeah. No, I mean, it'll be interesting to see as we go on because, we did see him interact with Lorne and briefly with Jane and not at all with Buck, but in that opening. And then this is just him to camera. When we see him later, it's just him to camera. Like it is interesting. And when we see him start to play with others, how that goes.
Yeah. And it is an interesting choice as your leadoff sketch. But to your point, just like that Bill Murray sketch, Bill's first episode, they led off with it. So yeah. I gotta ask, this is an honest question. This is basically a sketch about someone or some company that sells old or used hotel motel artwork in some type of an art fair setting.
Yeah.
Because there's a line he says at the end where it's like, there's a fair open tomorrow and there's got to be one near you.
Yeah.
So there's like multiple things.
Like it was a thing, right? It feels like it was a thing in the late 70s. Yeah.
I was having trouble putting it all together.
I think it was just a thing. But we have been in shoe stores, and the next sketch takes place in a shoe store where Eric Idle plays a shoe salesman, and Bill goes in looking for just a pair of brown shoes, a pair of 10.5 men's brown shoes.
Now, you wear only one shoe?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I do. Yes.
All right, let me ask you this with all due respect. Isn't it a bit painful? I mean, say you're getting all dressed up to go out to a fancy dress ball.
Oh,
or
I don't
something.
go to dances, sir. I find them pretentious and boring.
All right, you've been invited to a dinner party at your boss's house.
Oh, I wouldn't go to a dinner party at my boss's house, sir. First of all, I hate my boss, and secondly, I find his house depressing.
All right, let's just say you're going bowling.
Oh,
okay?
don't bowl, war injury.
All right, you're going out with your wife.
My wife is dead.
I'm sorry, you're walking your dog.
I hate dogs. I detest all pets.
All right, you're sitting home watching TV.
I don't own a TV. I find it repugnant and childish.
All right, let's say you're going to a movie then,
I hate
okay?
movies.
It's a documentary.
Biased and boring.
Okay, you're just sitting home reading a book.
I do not read books. Books are often made into movies, and I hate all forms of entertainment.
Then what do you do?
I sell shoes, sir. Shoe selling is my life, sir. I'm incessantly selling shoes. I never stop selling shoes.
One shoe at a time.
Precisely.
You have a 10.5 brown?
Yes, sir.
How much is it?
$10.
I'll take 2.
Sold. Hunt you down. What do you say?
My first note was, Bill looks less pissed off this week, quickly followed by, nope, still pissed.
Yeah, it's interesting. So this was a sketch where I thought, I wondered how it would play with, and you can put in blank. You could put in Garrett. You could put in Harry Shearer. You could put in Dan. And it was like, how would this be different with Eric Idle and someone else, as opposed to Bill, where it escalates to that angry Bill?
I agree with you. And I had a very specific name to finish that sentence. And it was John. Because he gets so loud and angry.
Yeah.
It was a typical John role of I'm going to be loud and yell and be an angry, whatever, which John plays, I guess, funnier than Bill. Because Bill just comes off as angry. When Bill does it, he comes off, he feels legitimately angry. Where John, it feels like it's an act. To your point, I agree with you. It didn't feel like Bill was the right guy to bounce off of Eric, which then also made me realize, again, missing Dan, because Dan bounced off of him so well.
Yeah. And that was my original thought. But then I thought even, you have Harry Shearer and you have Garrett, who does nothing all night. Wonder what one of them would have been like in this role.
Because I don't think the crowd liked Bill in this. Like, there were not a lot of laughs.
No.
It was the kind of angry character John would do, and the crowd would lap it up. You know what I mean? They would applaud, they'd holler, they'd clap, and just, they did not like Bill in this role, I don't think.
Yeah, I think Bill's anger comes across more legitimate and less cartoonish.
Yes, that's the
John's
word, cartoonish.
did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we should say that this takes place in a shoe store, and Bill asks for a pair of brown shoes, and he keeps getting free gifts for things like asking for shoes. And Eric Idle says, you get a free gift. And then at the first time, Gilda comes out as Conchita, and she gives Bill kisses. And then Bill's kind of taken aback, and it's unexpected. And this goes on, and he's asking for shoes, and Eric rattles off every different color shoe except for brown until he asks for brown shoe. And then he gets another free gift, and Jane comes out as Angelica and gives him a kiss, and then goes on and asks for the size, and Lorraine comes out and gives him a kiss. And that's the thing. And then Bill, to what we were speaking of, gets angry and just, it was kind of frustrating. I kind of felt with Bill after a while. I was like, okay, this is just going on long.
But he does have a line where he says at one point, like, "Can I ask you, like, before I hit you, let me ask you?" And I was like, I legitimately thought Bill was going to clock him.
The anger doesn't come across in a physical way like it does with John. Like if it were John, you could imagine him like throwing shoes off the counter and stuff like that. Whereas Bill is just a subtler anger that just kind of, grows in him.
Well, I think the cartoonish that you said, John plays it cartoony and therefore funny, where Bill, it comes off across as very sincere.
Yeah. Yeah, the anger is kind of palpable. I thought, this sketch, all in all, I was like, it was a little long and therefore kind of grating, I thought.
But when it got to the end, it was good.
Yeah.
When he started explaining, when Eric was only going to sell him one shoe, and then Bill had to explain why he wanted two shoes and like dialogue about like, well, it's much more expensive. How much more expensive? Twice as expensive. Well, how much is one shoe? Half. Like writing was great. The delivery was great. It ended really, really well. But you're right. Yes. It took a little bit to get there.
Yeah. And again, this is like the perfect way to explore Eric Idle and Python's sense of humor with going through all of those colors and then all of those sizes and that. And this really is where I thought, oh, I missed Dan in this because, like you said, he played really well off of especially Idle, but also Michael Palin, the other Pythoner.
Yeah.
And it was the kind of thing where I thought, well, this would be a lot of fun with Dan.
I feel like Eric had to have a big hand in writing this. It feels very Python, especially the kisses coming out and running off. And like you mentioning 9 different colors other than brown and every other size besides 10.5. He's like, size 5, that would be a bit snug on you. Like, there's a lot of Python-esque humor in this sketch. Yeah.
And then it was fun at the end of the sketch when they pull back and you see all the cameras and everything. The ladies come out again and they're all just kind of dancing around the shoe store in a circle. And that was fun. It's like, yeah, everyone's having fun still. That's all right. That's good. So after the shoe store, we get our first performance from Bob Dylan. He comes out and plays Gotta Serve Somebody. I feel like I'll just cede the floor to you now, and you can talk to us about Bob Dylan.
Do you like Bob Dylan? Like in general?
It's funny. In general, yes. Do I love Bob Dylan? No.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't love Bob Dylan, but I do like him enough. I was not at this period Bob Dylan, not really. Not my
this
bag.
is a tough Bob Dylan period, I will give you. This is, like we said earlier, the first of his 3 Christian albums that he released. This is, coming off of, he hadn't had a hit in 3 years since Desire, which I think was 76. And he had a tour in 78 that wasn't very good, the Budokan tour. He had a film that came out that was like a half concert, like half narrative film based on the Rolling Thunder tour from 75. So he was in a weird place, I feel like, at this time. And it's like you could go down the rabbit hole with Dylan and the Christianity and where he was at this time. But Gotta Serve Somebody off the album Slow Train Coming, his first single, would be his first, like I said, his first hit in I think 3 or 4 years. I don't know. It's a decent song. Like I asked if you like Bob Dylan. I think people are like really like Bob Dylan or you don't. So if you like Bob Dylan, you enjoyed this. And if you don't like Bob Dylan, this did absolutely nothing to change your mind.
Not all in the 7 minutes. That was my takeaway, was like, I started out with like, oh, this is good. I like this. And then I was like, oh, this song is still going on.
Was this tune 7 minutes?
Yeah. I actually went back and timed this one because I was like, it felt long. And then I was like, is it just me? But no, it was actually 7 minutes.
Oh, wow. I didn't notice it was that long. I mean, I like the song and I do like the song in general, and it is a good version of it. It's kind of faithful to the studio version, which wasn't always the case with Bob Dylan when he played live. Decent performance of a decent song. Good thing for him to open up with. The
band was very good. The backup singers were very good. They were all very good.
I think a bigger thing is just him being on the show. I mean, you can't discount that, right? I mean, for both him and the show. As I mentioned, I think he was kind of struggling. So I think it's a big thing for him to be on this show to kind of validate him and who he is and his relevancy, that it still is important. And for the show to get him to show they're still a big draw and they can still get somebody of this caliber who's not on other shows. I think it's like kind of a case of two icons desperately in need of each other, hoping that each can validate each other's existence still.
I guess. I mean, I can't speak as to where Dylan was during this time.
I don't know how successful it was for either of them. But
right. I mean, Lauren even mentions that in the opening when they're talking about Eric Idle being sick. And he's like, he's an actor. I thought everyone was just talking about Dylan being on the show. He wanted attention.
Right.
So Lauren thought it was a big deal. So I don't know. But this song, I really enjoyed it. It just kind of went on too long.
I get you. Like I said, I like the song, so I didn't feel the length, but I hear you. I wouldn't have guessed 7. If you would have asked me, I would have said it was like 4.5, 5 minutes. I wouldn't have guessed 7.
Yeah. Well, their next sketch took me by surprise as well, I'll be honest, because
Did it?
Eric Idle. Well, I didn't know at first what Eric Idle was going for until he introduced himself as Prince Charles. And then I was like,
yeah,
okay.
I love that they brought this character or impression, whatever you want to call it, character/impression back. I loved it.
Yeah. And he's playing Prince Charles, and he's written a book, How to Pick Up Sexy Girls. And my favorite part was he's talking about himself, Prince Charles, and he's like, you may say I have no sense of humor and I'm too inbred and not smart enough. So he's just taking shots at the prince at this point. Then they go to actual people who have read the book trying to pick up girls. So Garrett is hitting on Gilda.
Garrett's there with the beard.
Yeah, he finally gets something. Tom Davis is hitting on Jane, and then Bill is hitting on Lorraine. They're all the examples that they show. And then it's back to Idle talking to camera. I thought it was fun because it was Eric Idle making fun of the prince. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, everything you said. It's short. It's relatively painless. It's easy thing for the host to do. I get why it's there. I'm not going to knock him for doing it. Like, it makes sense.
It was fine. I was surprised to see Tom Davis in there, but happy. I thought he was fine in it. And that takes us to Weekend Update. This was a Weekend Update of just before we get into it, because there's not much to really talk about, I don't think.
No applause. No applause.
No applause. Yes. None. Nothing. Everyone was kind of, I felt like they were waiting for something. And this was the Weekend Update where I thought, man, if they had just left Jane alone on the Weekend Update desk, she does so well. Like, reading these jokes.
Yeah. I mean, you are right. Yeah.
I don't know. This one especially, because there were a lot up top where she ran like, I don't know, 4 or 5 jokes before it even went to Bill.
That's true. Yeah. She had the New Mexico clock behind her. She had New Mexico and he had New Brunswick.
When it finally did go to Bill, he tosses to Gerald Hacker in the London Update studios. So it's Harry Shearer just on a different set. I didn't know why. I was like, why are we doing this?
I didn't know why he just wasn't Harry Shearer. Like, why did he play a character? I didn't understand why he was lit so badly.
Well, there's a lot of that this episode too.
That's true too.
Yeah.
And then this is another one where I thought, again, is he doing Dan? It felt very reminiscent of Dan.
Interesting. Oh. I think the fact that they took him not even near the desk, just to a separate desk, a separate set, made no sense to me.
Oh, because he's supposed to be in London.
I know, but why?
But yeah, I mean, that didn't really play it. It would have been, play him at the desk. I hear you. Yeah.
And then they go to a pre-tape where they're doing interviews about this London thing, and it's Paul Schaefer and a woman. I didn't catch who.
I thought you were going to rattle the names of like the other 3 people.
No,
I was about to be impressed. I was like, wow, good research.
No. Nope. Yeah, and so that even confused me more. I was like, why can't you just have played a clip from London? Like, why do you have to be at the London desk? But that's going to be a thing. That didn't really hit, in my opinion. And then commentary from Bill Murray.
You're like so pissed that Bill Murray's doing a commentary.
Well, because I'm like, again, like, we've gone so far with Bill at the desk, who was like, Stargazer Bill to just Bill, and now he's doing commentary. Like,
well, it's like he's purposely not doing a Stargazer bit, which is very evident that he's not doing that.
Right.
And is this what you're talking about? Where like, why not have somebody else do it? Why is Bill doing commentary as opposed to like Garrett or somebody?
That was part of it. Was just
I see. Yeah.
that but also I think it was the whole thing of Update just felt off for me, where it was like, just if it was just Jane and she threw to Harry and then she threw to Bill and then she threw to Roseanne, fine. But like trying to cram Bill in at the desk and then to give Bill a commentary as well didn't really make sense to me.
I mean, we're an episode and a half in now. Bill seems off, no?
Yeah.
Like just in general. We kind of mentioned it in the preview, you know, when he did the Hunter S. Thompson movie and he came in kind of with a chip on his shoulder and he was pissed Dan and John left. I mean, there's definitely a different aura about Bill this season so far. It's not translating well onto screen.
Nope.
I did like after he did the commentary, because he's talking about royalty, whatever, the woman getting drunk in Chicago and getting faced, and he kept using the line, "I am
Princess
faced.
Margaret.
If she gets faced, and then he does his first joke and he kind of messes up. He just looks at Cheney and he goes, "I am faced."
Yeah,
which was it was a great callback. I did like that.
I don't know that I've ever heard the term "faced."
I have never heard it before.
Okay,
no, never.
Yeah, I wrote down the faced ?
But Bill said it enough that by the end I understood and got it and appreciated the callback.
I liked that.
What was not appreciated was the Amy Carter joke. That was rough. What do you get a girl who has nothing?
I mean, that wasn't a good joke. You didn't need to do that to a 12-year-old.
But you finally, to answer your question, you finally get on Weekend Update what everybody's been waiting for. Roseanne Dana.
Yeah. She comes on as the economic advisor for Weekend Update to talk about, I don't even remember what she was supposed to be.
Mortgage rates. The guy was trying to buy a house and it was mortgage rates.
Yeah. And it quickly devolves into going to the East Hamptons and getting health books. I thought she did a nice job of rolling through the titles of the health books.
I had to say it because you're wearing your Giant shirt when she's talking about how the guy, he's like, I hate New Jersey. I hate the Giants. I want to move.
That's
right.
right.
I did like the Giants knock.
Could have been written today. Who knows?
Yes.
This is another Roseanne Dana where I enjoyed it. And then I felt like it carried on a little bit long.
A little bit. I agree. Can only talk about roughage for so long, but
yeah.
I mean, it's the same that we've seen time and time again, but it was comfy.
Yeah.
It made you feel like the show still had its old vibe. You know what I mean? Like this is the first time, really, I think, in an episode and a half where they gave the audience what they really love, what they wanted to see. This is easily, she gets the biggest, best reaction to anything we've seen. I mean, granted, it's only an episode and a half, but
still, yeah.
Roseanne Dana coming out was the biggest response the audience has given so far.
I mean, she's the first recurring character we've had, right? In the first two episodes.
No, I mean, David Susskind. Yeah.
I mean,
Father Aldini, you know, I mean, there were people.
Yeah, I guess. Right. But first episode, Father Guido Sarducci got the biggest.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. He got the biggest bump. So.
And the ending was funny with the prayer that her father would say to her.
He'd make sure I was all tucked in, snug and cozy and everything. And he'd tell me this prayer that was written by my very religious aunt, Roseanne Dana. I want to tell it to you. Now I lay me down to sleep after a lot of roughage I did eat. I hope I die before I wake, because another washing these sheets can't take.
Then again, you got that Gilda Jane back and forth. So
that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
It almost, it kind of, you know, oddly felt like what you needed now. Like we just needed that to reassure, like, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's Jane and Gilda letting you know it's going to be okay.
And I thought they did a nice job at the end too, where you saw the two of them and Jane put her hand over Gilda's mouth and then Gilda wiped the makeup off of her hand. Yeah, that was really sweet.
It was fun.
That was fun. How'd you feel about the next one? Hardcore 2, which I guess was a movie trailer. I was very confused as to how they set that up.
No. Oh, you don't know the movie Hardcore? I mean, so there's a movie Hardcore.
Okay.
I admit I don't know the movie that well. You know how I know it? Remember the Quentin Tarantino book? He writes about it. He writes a chapter about Hardcore, the Paul Schrader movie. That's how I know the movie more than anything, is reading it in there.
Oh, well, I have to go reread that chapter.
It came out in like February, which is the weird thing to me, was that why do you do this now? This felt like if you were going to do it, you would have done it at the end of last season. So it makes me feel like this was something that had been sitting around, like was written in season 4
Right.
and just
Yeah.
never got done and decided to throw it in here. So Hardcore, the movie, is about a father played by George C. Scott. So Bill Murray's doing George C. Scott in
Oh,
this
yes.
sketch.
I remember that. Okay.
Yes. And so George C. Scott plays a father, I think in like the Midwest somewhere, whose teenage or very young daughter goes to California, goes to Los Angeles, and like gets embedded in like the prostitute or sex ring or something like that. And he basically goes out to Los Angeles to find his daughter, to like rescue his daughter. And so Hardcore 2 is a satire, a spoof of that, where it's flipped and the daughter is going out to find the father. So Lorraine plays the daughter and she's going to like a male, male striptease or whatever bar, and her father's dancing and that's my father. I think she even says the line, my God, because I think the trailer or the poster for Hardcore was like, oh my God, that's my daughter. And I think she utters the line, oh my God, that's my father, or something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
So it is timely.
Except they're all in drag. It's not just a male strip club. It's like they're dressed as women.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I had the note, Eric getting the cast to do drag again. That was my first thought before I realized it was Hardcore 2, what they're doing.
Yeah. But like skimpy drag, they were just in, tighty whities, although they were sparkly. Do they call them sparkly whiteys?
Probably. That sounds technical. I like that they're doing movie parodies again. This one didn't really hit for me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And now that, you gave me that recall, I remember reading about that now. It explains the fake nose that Bill's wearing.
Yeah. I mean, again, I feel like in 1979, people were more aware and probably caught on to it a bit better than now, looking back.
Maybe not the people in the audience, though, because it didn't seem like they caught on.
But because of that, and because of being timely, I think we'll say this again later, that this sketch works better on paper. You know what I mean? If you know the film and you write it down, you're like, this is smart. This can be really funny, but it's really hard to pull off.
Yes.
And I don't think they did it, but I understand like why they tried it. And again, I do think this was something that was written in like March of earlier and they drug it back up
just
this
sat.
week.
Yeah. I could see that. Anyway, well, we get our next, and I guess second appearance from Garrett. Again.
Speaking of anyway,
Garrett comes out to introduce Bob Dylan, who comes back on to sing I Believe in You. I'm guessing this is off that same album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
I mean, not his best, but it's Bob Dylan, whatever that means.
Means a lot of things to a lot of people.
It's Bob Dylan playing decisively non-rock, non-pop music, which is exactly what Bob Dylan wanted to do. So
yeah, it was fine. I thought it was interesting that after they finished the song, they all put their instruments down and just walked off the stage.
That's Bob just being cool, man. That's Bob. Bob don't give a fuck.
I guess my question was, I mean, my thought when I saw that was like, oh, they're done for the night. But they weren't. They came back.
They are not.
Yeah. So it felt like an odd choice in hindsight.
I understand. No, I think Gotta Serve Somebody's the only like single, quote unquote, or really known song off that album. It's probably the best of the 3 albums. Although there's a song on the third one, Shout of Love, called Every Grain of Sand, which is an amazing tune.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's one song out of 3 albums.
Well, 2, if you go with Gotta Serve Somebody.
Gotta Serve Somebody's a good song. Gotta Serve.
Yeah.
You know who played lead guitar on this album?
No.
Mark Knopfler.
Oh, really?
They were like a year, or not even, after Sultans of Swing came out, their first album, Dire Straits. And he brought Knopfler in, and Mark was his first. And I think Mark toured with him after this, and he's done more albums with him.
Interesting. Hell of a guitarist.
Oh, my God. Oh, I have a Dire Straits question for you.
Okay.
Literally happened today. Something came on. I think it was on the radio. Oh, Walk of Life came on.
Uh-huh.
And my wife asked me, she goes, is this song about football or baseball or sports? I'm like, no, but I think the video had a lot of sports stuff in it for some reason. Am I right? Walk of Life?
So the beginning of the music video is the band getting dressed backstage, intercut with athletes. Like the guys are putting on wristbands and the athletes are putting on gloves and then putting on boots. And it's just comparing their stage performance to athletic performance.
Because the lyrics have nothing to do about sports, right? If anybody out there knows, tweet at us at Not Ready for Primetime Project.
NR4PT Project.
You know what sport is not in that video, though?
What's that?
Wrestling.
Yeah, Eric Idle comes on with fake juggling balls and introduces Andy Kaufman.
That was funny.
The
orange is on a string. That was funny.
Andy Kaufman comes on, and he comes out.
Oh, sorry, but to note, this is now 4 pieces in a row that Eric Idle has nothing or next to nothing to do.
Yeah, I had that note too of that. This is a long stretch.
Yeah, like this is where I mean, I know he's sick.
But not just Eric Idle. It's the entire cast.
Oh, I guess, yeah. No, they were in hardcore. Like hardcore, he had like one line.
Oh, right.
And then
Yeah,
left.
you're right.
That's what I mean. Like, so he had one line, then update, then Bob Dylan, now this.
Right.
Anyway, here we go.
Andy Kaufman comes out and talks about, for the first time that we've seen on Saturday Night Live, and I think this might be the first time on national TV, that he talks about wrestling women.
Yes.
And he challenges any woman in the audience to come up and wrestle him for $500. If they beat him, they get $500.
But he had been doing this in his act by this point, right? I was trying to figure this out. I think you're right. This is the first time the public at large has seen it.
Correct.
But he'd been doing this gimmick at like the Comedy Store and in clubs up to this point. This is just him taking it to that next step, right?
Yes. And I think he's been doing, I think in the open to this, he says he's been doing it for 2 years, which I don't think is right. I think he'd only been doing this for a short time, but.
Got it. But he would ride this for a while.
Yeah. I mean, this is almost 4 years later when the incident with Jerry Lawler on David Letterman's show happens.
Oh, is it that long?
Yeah. I think that's like 82 or 83.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was he still wrestling women then?
Yes. Well,
okay.
He was, but then the whole thing turned into like actual wrestling, and he got involved with Jerry Lawler's promotion. I forget which one it was.
Mm-hmm. Memphis? He's down in Memphis, right?
It was a Memphis. Yeah, maybe it was just Memphis professional wrestling.
Because he tried to get into WWF, I know. He tried to go to Vince McMahon Sr.
Correct.
And he was like, no.
Yeah.
Is that what got him into doing women?
No, I think that was after. I think that was like when he got into it with Lawler was after Vince said no.
Like McMahon said no, so then he ended up down in Memphis with Lawler.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
I buy that story.
But this time he's coming on and he's introducing the concept to the nation and to the audience. And Bob Zamuda, his right-hand man, comes out as the ref, and they bring 5 women up on stage, and the audience gets to choose which one. They choose a woman who, when she first came on stage, I thought, is that lady pregnant?
Indeed, she was.
Yes. And again, with Andy Kaufman, you never know what's real and what's not. But I just liked how exasperated he was of like, you're pregnant. Why would you do this? Why would you say yes?
Well, Eric Idle writes in his book, Always Look on the Bright Side of Life, which I have on my nightstand, and I read usually a little passage every night before I go to bed.
Good.
But he writes about this saying like he saw this happening, must have had to have been in dress, but it's like, was like aghast that like Andy was going after a pregnant woman and thought he was going to bring her on stage and had to like stop it so he didn't wrestle her. So I read that and then I watched the sketch and I'm like, oh, there's the pregnant lady. She's right there.
So then Andy wrestles another woman, and this is just Andy becoming a heel. So for those of you who don't know wrestling, the heel is the bad guy in wrestling. Think the Iron Sheik. And Andy's just playing it up to the audience of like yelling at them and being the bad guy because that's who he wants to be in this world.
Your lone example of a heel is the Iron Sheik. That's you're going with.
What other heel in professional wrestling never turned babyface?
$1 Million Man?
Nope, not true. He became a babyface later. Yeah.
Really?
$1 Million Man. It's not even he wasn't even a bad guy.
He was totally a bad guy. He had a slave. Hercules was his slave. That's a bad guy. It had to be. Anyway, Iron Sheik. Oh, Nikolai Volkov? Did he turn good?
I don't know. You know what? Friend of the pod, Jeremy Dove, has a wrestling podcast. We can tune into that and learn all about it.
Just so we need more plugs for that guy. Anyway, sorry. I didn't mean to derail. I just was the Sheik. I was like, okay, the Sheik, sure.
Sure. He was always a bad guy.
But you're right. He's doing a bit. It's a character. And he is, not surprisingly, very committed to it.
Totally. This is the kind of thing where I watch it and I'm like, oh, all right. I love Andy Kaufman, and the wrestling women thing was always like weird, but he does so well as the heel and as like getting the crowd riled up against him.
Yeah, and this is a great vehicle for him to like take that turn, on
totally.
the show here. It makes sense because it's this is drastically different. Like if you're only watching Andy Kaufman on television or any, again, looking back now, Andy Kaufman, but like if you had only seen him on SNL for what he'd been doing up to this point and on his specials and Taxi, and then he comes out and does this is like a complete 180 from this dude.
Yeah.
Which is genius.
He's next level genius.
But this is a very long bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very long.
And wasn't the point that he didn't need to pin her, she just needed to pin him?
Within 3 minutes. Yes.
Yeah. But then he pinned her and that ended the match.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever.
That was the whole thing.
But this is the beginning. This is the whole beginning of Andy Kaufman and the wrestling women and SNL and like the downfall on SNL and vote Andy off and all that. So it was fun to see the origin of that.
Yeah. The very beginning of it. I also thought it was fun to see Joan Face return.
My first note, of course, yes, Joan Face.
She's back to host Heavy Sarcasm. So, of course, played by Jane, and her guests on Heavy Sarcasm are author Nigel Quist and actor Greg Malone. So Nigel Quist played by Eric Idle and Greg Malone played by Bill. Nigel Quist wrote a book about Bruce Jenner, and Greg Malone, played by Bill, is going to play him in an upcoming film. And this is just the three of them being sarcastic toward one another and the work that they do. And this is the last actual episode of Heavy Sarcasm, they say. This is just them being sarcastic
to each other. The concept is funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then my next note was, I'm not sure how well it holds up for the length of this sketch.
Yeah.
And just after I wrote that, just as I thought, they're starting to wrap it up.
Yeah. Yeah. It was fine. It wasn't anything that I was excited about.
Jane's great.
Sure. How great is Jane?
How great is Jane? No, it's a very funny concept, and I can see why they did it. This is another one. I think it's an instance where this played a lot better on the page than it did on its feet. Again, you read this, and you're like, this is smart as hell, and it's really funny. Because the lines they say to each other are funny and they are overly sarcastic. It's just the delivery just wasn't there to really sell it as much. But you could see why this went on. It is a funny sketch in construct.
It was all right.
And it's fairly short.
It was.
It only went long because of the concept and it was hard to keep up, but it wasn't a long sketch. So I think it works.
Yeah, it was fine. The next sketch wasn't very long either. It was Ask Elvis.
Yeah. My last note. Wow, that was quick.
Ask Elvis is a show where Lorraine plays Dorothy Hagen, and people write into her show and ask questions, and then she asks Elvis. This was a very strange concept. I thought it was like shot very awkwardly. It was so tight on Lorraine for some reason.
Yeah.
This was like the one where the lighting was so weird and off.
This was my note. I said, did Garrett just have 2 lines tonight all night?
Yeah. Yes, he did.
Yeah. He introduced somebody and 2 lines here.
Yeah, I was also surprised. I couldn't figure out who was the Elvis voice when Elvis was answering.
Oh, it was Andy.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Andy did the Elvis voice.
I agree.
I thought that was the fun and interesting switch up. Yeah.
Yeah. It took me a moment though, where I was like, wait, who's doing Elvis?
And then by the time you realized they were out,
it was over. Yeah, that was it.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, this was another one where I was like, all right, that was fine. That was quick. I felt like by the time they set it up and gave me the joke, we were out. It was gone.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that was followed up with our last bit of the night, another Dylan song. This one, When You Gonna Wake Up.
Of course, they give him 3 numbers.
3 numbers. This was also 7 minutes long.
Was it really?
Yes.
I did not. Okay. Wow.
I know. I did all the numbers. I added up the screen time for tonight, and Bob Dylan had over 18 minutes of screen time. And then you figure Kaufman, I actually didn't time Kaufman, but that was long as well. So
that was long.
That's like half your show right there between 3 Dylan numbers and Andy Kaufman wrestling a woman.
Oof.
The bass player, don't know who it is, don't know the guy's name, but man, he was really into this song.
He was loving this tune.
Especially at the beginning.
Who's the bass player you love in that band I never know?
Oh, Leland Sklar.
There it is.
I was going to say Donald Duck Dunn, but I knew that's not who you were talking about.
No, please, sir. Come on. Eric Idle had a nice dig on Duck Dunn in his book. Because he's talking about Bright Side of Life, I guess. And Harry Nielsen covered it.
Uh-huh.
And in his cover, Duck Dunn plays bass. And he talks about how like grueling it is or how horrible it is, like listening to guys like overdub his own songs. He's like, I recorded it in like half a day with 2 dudes. And I'm listening to Harry's performance with like 18 musicians and a choir and all this stuff. But I appreciated the Duck Dunn reference in his book. It's an interesting Dylan time period. I think, like I said, even most diehard Dylan fans kind of check out a little bit in this period. Like my records do stop at Desire and then pick back up on Infidels, which is the album that came out after these 3. Infidels is a good album. Joker Man, License to Kill. Did you ever see, you mentioned Letterman, did you ever see Dylan on Letterman when he was promoting Infidels in 84? I think it was 84.
I don't think so, or I don't remember if I
He
did.
comes on with a band called I think they're called The Plugs. They're like a post-punk band. And he plays the song Joker Man off that album, License to Kill, which is a really good tune, and some like random Sonny Boy Williams song. But it is awesome. Like the performance in general
Yeah.
is like awesome Bob Dylan.
Nice.
It's really cool. You should check it out.
All right. I will.
Which I'm guessing was his first time on Letterman, but I don't know. It's really good. I can't believe you haven't seen that as much as you like Letterman.
Yeah, I kind of want to buy a new Samsung TV because they play all the old late shows on they have like a whole channel on Samsung TV.
The Late Show or the Late Night, like the old one?
I think it's just late show. I don't think it's late night.
The CBS one. Got you.
Yeah. Then we go to a very quick, nothing noteworthy good nights, or I didn't have anything.
Only that they're playing a best of during the week.
Yes.
And a repeat on Saturday.
Yes.
Which we kind of talked about at the opening of last episode, where they made the note of this is a new episode. Like they made that point at the beginning of the episode 1.
Yeah.
That was the only thing I saw.
Yeah. We could only do 2. We could only do 2 episodes before we need a break, though.
Back to the drawing board. I think this episode kind of works, though. No?
I say, but I'm also not a Dylan fan, so that was like a big chunk of the show that I was like not interested in.
Yeah. Like, and I don't know why or how, but I don't know. Even with Eric Idle sick and not that involved, especially in the second half of the show, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the episode.
Good.
Like, I don't know. It was like, I didn't love the Andy Kaufman bit. I agree with you. It got long and kind of whatever. Musical guest, not great, but do you think Dylan's performance is better than the Rolling Stones performance?
Yes.
Okay. So you get that, right? An iconic artist doing fairly well. And there's no real standout sketches like classics.
No.
But I enjoyed the episode.
Well, that's good.
For the most part. Yeah.
I can't say that I enjoyed it. I'm trying to, I guess I enjoyed it more than last week's.
Oh, I definitely enjoyed it more than last week's. I'm not saying it's one of the best we've seen in 5 seasons, but I enjoyed it.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's one of the worst either. So
Yeah.
Well, Brad, what are your best bits?
I have a 2 for 1. I'm going the cold open, but into the monologue. The combination of those two, I think, was the best bit.
I had the cold open, and honestly, it's because of Buck. But you're right. The monologue is the payoff to that. It works really well.
You had to do them together. Like, I feel like them together is the best bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And I would say honorable mention is Shoe Story is fun. It ends so well. It just doesn't make up for the first 2/3 of that sketch, I think.
Yeah.
But it ends really good.
Well, that's our episode. Next week on the early years of SNL, hopefully Garrett is feeling better and he's able to perform next week. We're talking about Season 5, Episode 3 with host Bill Russell and musical guest Chicago. Until then, good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Thanks for listening to the Not Ready for Primetime Project. Look for us on social media everywhere at NR4PT Project. And please drop us a line to let us know what you think of the shows, and frankly, because we're kind of lonely, at nr4ptproject@gmail.com. The Not Ready for Primetime Project team includes Brad Robinson and Gary Seath. Our announcer is Jason Taylor, who is not doing his job announcing these end credits. Edited by Topher Bagley, and the original music by Jacob Spiewak. Please remember to rate and review wherever you watch and or listen to the show. Thanks for listening. Good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Brad, why do you do this? Do you do this to hurt us?
But the horns, they blowing that sound. Way on down south. Way on down south. London town. Check out Guitar George. He knows all the chords. But it's strictly rhythm, he doesn't want to make it cry or sing. If then an old guitar is all he can afford, when he gets up under the lights,